Hey, in this video, I am going to demonstrate our financial projection template built for craft food and beverage companies. So I'm going to give you some examples of the types of businesses that this template might work really well for to help create financial projections for potential investors and lenders. So if you're an artisanal bakery or maybe a microbrewery, micro distillery, specialty coffee roaster, some other examples could be a gourmet chocolate shop, artisan cheesemaker, farm-to-table butcher shop. So those are some examples of business model types that I think could work well with this template structure. So the way it's going to work is it's going to allow us to look at kind of how we manufacture the product, and then how we distribute that, whether it could include retail stores, it could include e-commerce, it could include wholesale to other retailers. So it kind of has built in all three of those models. And so if you have a business that could utilize this, I'm going to go ahead and walk through how to fill the template out and show how it works. I'm going to put a link to this template in the description of the video below, so you can go grab that and follow along. And also, if you stick around to the end of the video, as our thank you for sticking around and to help out our channel here, we're going to give you a discount code. So we'll give you access to a discount code to take a discount on this particular template. Before I dive into the details of the template though, just a little bit of background. My name's Adam Huxema. I'm the co-founder of Projection Hub, and we help people create financial projections for potential investors and lenders. And we have about 125 different industry-specific financial projection templates across all sorts of industries. And then we help folks fill those out. We help customize them. So if you're in need of help and just want someone to kind of hold your hand and take you through the process and do this for you, we can be that service for you as well. So feel free to reach out to us if that's something that would be useful. And then just a little bit more background on me and how I got to this spot is I spent 10 years as the executive director of an SBA lender, where we made over 1,500 SBA loans to small businesses across a variety of industries. And one of the challenges was always creating financial projections for those SBA loan applications. And so that's how I got the idea to start Projection Hub, to try to help our clients. And so, yeah, if that resonates with what you're looking to accomplish here, I hope you'll stick around and check out the template here. So let's dive in. All right, so here we are on the At a Glance tab, and this is kind of the end of the process. So after we have filled out all of our various assumptions, you're going to get a number of different charts and tables and graphs and data that you can use in a pitch deck, that you can use in a business plan for an SBA loan application. So you get an idea here of what this looks like. And then you're going to get a 5-year income statement summary, a 5-year cash flow summary, a 5-year balance sheet, and then the income statement, cash flow, and balance sheet all broken down by month for each of the first 5 years. Now, the SBA, if you're looking for an SBA loan, they're going to require at least the first 2 years broken down monthly. So our template meets that requirement, but also, above and beyond that, it gives you the full 5 years of monthly detail. Now, in order to produce these reports, we have a little bit of work to do. I'm going to walk you through the assumptions here and how to fill this out. So first thing you need to know is any cell that's highlighted in blue is an assumption that you can change without breaking something in the model. So you've got the ability to change the company name here. You can change the projection start month. You could put an opening cash balance if the business already has, an opening cash balance. And then equity funding. So let's say we're trying to raise a round of $250,000 in investment in month 1. And then we think, we're going to raise another $250,000 here in month 6, for example. That could be from outside investors. It could be your own personal investment, maybe as a down payment for an SBA loan, for example. On the accounts payable terms, you probably can just leave this as it is. 80% of your bills you'll pay in the month incurred, 20% with a 1 month delay. So an example of a bill that you might pay on a delay would be a utility bill, where you incur the expense for the use of the utilities this month. You get the bill at the beginning of the following month, and then you might have 20 days to pay it. So you have some delay there that impacts cash flow. On the accounts receivable terms, this is what percentage of your sales are paid upon delivery, meaning if I hand you a piece of gourmet chocolate that we made and sell it to you today, are you going to pay for it right then? And in most cases, I think for this model, the answer is going to be yes, you're probably going to get paid 100% upfront. Now, let's say you do have a substantial wholesale business. It's possible that the wholesale customers that you provide terms to them, so maybe they would pay in 30 days. And so what you could do, let's say the wholesale business is 25% of your business. You might say 75% are going to pay upon delivery, 25% on net 30 payment, and that's going to impact your cash flow projections. Okay, so this model also allows you to put in fixed assets. And in this example, we're going to assume that we have a couple of retail stores. And so we can see here for retail store number one, we're going to have $150,000 worth of leasehold improvements. And that's going to happen here. We're going to say that happens here in month one. And then let's say we open the second location. Maybe we'll bump that to month 13. So at the beginning of year 2, we open a second location. So we're going to have another $150,000 for leasehold improvements. And then let's say we're manufacturing. I'm going to use the example of a specialty chocolate manufacturer. So chocolate or candy manufacturer. So we are going to have $100,000 worth of manufacturing equipment that we need as well. And let's see, we're also going to get a business loan, and maybe we'll bump that rate up to 10% here. But we've got $400,000 business loan in month one, interest rate of 10%, and a term of 120 months. Okay, let's go over to our input revenue tab. Now, this is kind of a beast of a tab here. There's quite a bit here. I'm going to try to walk you through it. And so I appreciate your patience as we go through here. So you can initially set your annual price growth rate and cost growth rate here. So this is basically just your inflation rate that you're expecting. So maybe we'll bump that down to 3%. And then this is kind of the production portion. So again, let's say we are manufacturing chocolate and we're going to have the default unit that we're thinking through here. Everything is in the batch here is going to be in kilograms. Okay, so we're going to have our different ingredients for the chocolate here, and then we're going to say, okay, to make one batch of our specialty chocolate, it's going to be $12.50 of ingredient one, $5 of ingredient two, and so on, right? So this gives you a total cost for the batch of $24.50. And then we get to say, okay, well, how many of these base units, how many kilograms does that create per batch? We're saying that it's going to create 10 kilograms for a batch in this example. So then we know our cost per kilogram is $2.45. So that's your production piece. Now we need to get into, okay, we're producing this. Now, how are we selling this? Okay, we're going to sell this through retail stores. Now you can, in each of these different revenue sections, you can select this drop down, yes or no. So let's say you don't have retail, but you have e-commerce and wholesale. Then you would just select no on the retail, and you can actually just avoid this whole section. If you wanted to, you can highlight a whole section here like this. Let's say you're not doing retail, highlight, right click, and click hide. It'll just hide that entire section. And then in order to unhide a section, you're going to see it jumps from row 30 to row 98. So you're going to highlight, right click, click unhide, and we can bring that back. So now let's go ahead and say that we are going to have a retail store. So we're going to be open 6 days a week. We have the first retail store is going to open in month one. The second one we said was going to open in month 13. And then here is the number of visitors per store per day. So we think in year one after opening a store, we're going to have 100 visitors a day. And then in year two, 120 visitors a day, and so on. So we're going to grow our customer traffic. So this is going to apply to every store that you add. It's going to apply these same numbers, okay? The same thing with the conversion rate. So what we're saying here is we're going to have 100 people walk in. Only 60% are actually going to buy something. So we'll have 60 transactions a day and 1.5 products purchased per transaction. So maybe, on average, 1.5 boxes of chocolate or whatever we're selling here. So that all of that kind of adds up to tell us, okay, this is the total number of products sold at all of our stores in this particular month. So we've got 2,391 units sold. And then we can get into what's the product variation. So let's say we have 2 core products, maybe it's fudge and a box of specialty chocolate. Obviously you could categorize this as well into kind of broad categories. So it could be candy, it could be chocolate, it could be, toffee or whatever, right? So you have different product variations here. And then what we're going to say, we're saying, okay, this product is launching in month 1, meaning it's going to be available for sale in month 1. If you wanted to add products in the future, you could say, okay, we're working on a new product, but it's not going to be available until month 13, for example. All right, then you can put in your average price per unit for each product. And then this is the kilograms of base product used per unit, right? So remember up here, we talked about, okay, we're going to create, one batch is going to create 10 kilograms of our product. And every time we sell product 1, we're going to use 0.25 kilograms. And again, let me just demonstrate here. So you can change this to pounds, for example. If you want to make everything about pounds, you say pounds per batch. So it's 10 pounds a batch, and then pounds of base product per unit. So it'd be product 1 is 0.25 pounds. So you could do pounds, you could do kilograms, you could do ounces, right? You could do, liquid measurements, gallons, things like, you can change that base unit amount, and everything else kind of flows through. Then you've got a cost of packaging per unit here. So 15 cents to package product 1, 20 cents to package product 2. And then we think 60% of these units sold will be product 1. We think 40% of the units sold will be product 2. Makes sense? So that gives you your projected retail revenue here and your cost of goods sold. All right, now let's get into the e-commerce section. So let's say we also sell we sell chocolate boxes online through our website. So we've selected to include e-commerce. We do some advertising for our website. We have a cost per click here of $2.70 and a budget of $500 a month here, ramping up to $1,000 a month. So that's going to drive visitors to our website. Plus we have some organic website visitors. So here's our total number of website visitors, and then a conversion rate. So of those 235 visitors, 4% convert into buying something. So we have 9 orders. The average items purchased per order is 2. So our number of items purchased on the website is 19. Then we have the same process. So product variation, we've got maybe for online sales, we've got 4 different options. And here's our price and our kilograms used per unit, and so on, right? And then it's evenly split 25% a piece between the four products. All right, now wholesale is a little bit different. Again, we can select yes that we're going to have wholesale. Let's say we sell our boxes of chocolate to other boutique retail stores. And then we want to also sell to big box stores. So we're going to start selling to boutique retail stores right away in month 1, but maybe for some big box stores, that's not going to start until month 6. And here, this allows you to say, what's the average number of locations of this type of wholesale customer? So we're saying we have 10 boutique retail stores in year 1, 20 in year 2, 30 in year 3, and so on. And we've got 1 big box retail store by year 1 and increase by 1 a year, right? And then for each store that you're in, how many units do you think you'll sell per month per store that you're in? So for these smaller boutique retail stores, we think we're going to sell 10 boxes of chocolate per store that we're in. And if we're in a big box store, maybe we're going to sell 500 units a month of our chocolate per store that we're in, right? So then what we need to do is say, what's the average order size, the initial order and subsequent orders from these retailers? So we're saying they're going to order from us 30 units at a time or 50 units at a time. That's what we're going to send them, like, per shipment. Now, it might take them 3 months to sell through that, right? If they're selling 10 units a month and we send them 30 units, it's going to take 3 months before they reorder, right? So this is all going to kind of take care of that modeling for you and how many orders you're expected to have each month based on those assumptions. So you've got your total number of orders, and then you can again break down by product. So we're saying, okay, we've got product 1, wholesale price is $12. It's going to utilize 0.33 kilograms for the product, and it's split 50-50 between products sold. And so you can see this kind of ramp up of wholesale revenue here. The accounts receivable terms, this is specifically with, you can set that individually here just for the wholesale customers, which is cool. So this allows you to set specific accounts receivable terms just with wholesale customers that wouldn't apply to your retail location, for example. All right, so then we've got this inventory model, and we're almost done on this tab. We've got this inventory model where we're going to say, okay, we need to order an opening amount of inventory. And in this case, since we're manufacturing the chocolate, the inventory that we're ordering is really the raw ingredients that we need to order to manufacture the end product. So we're going to start with a $5,000 order of raw ingredients, and then we're going to order our first kind of initial order amount. Then is going to be $10,000 after our kind of starting balance of $5,000. We're going to order that in month 1. And then we're going to order every month. We're just going to keep ordering each month. We're going to have new orders of raw ingredients. And our minimum order amount is $500. So maybe if you had some large minimum order quantity or something for what you're making, you could bump this up. Like if you got a minimum order quantity of $25,000 for this particular ingredient, you can set that here. And then this is, well, let me bump back up here. So months between order and delivery. So on average, how long is it going to take after you make an order for those raw ingredients before they show up? And then what is the cash flow implications of those orders? So 50% maybe we have to pay up front and 50% upon delivery. And this will just handle all of your inventory modeling. And it's going to, as you manufacture and sell through product, it's going to automatically know, okay, we need to reorder. The reorder, the main thing you want to make sure of is that this beginning inventory balance never goes below 0. If it does, you're going to need to play around with these assumptions until you get that back to a positive level. The rest of this is all just calculation. So let's jump to, we have 2 more tabs, but these are much easier. So in these tabs, we can enter in operating expenses, sales and marketing, general and admin, various, store expenses. We have different categories, and then you can select a cost driver. So from a cost driver perspective, is it a fixed cost, a fixed dollar amount, a percentage of revenue, a per store, so this would be per retail store cost, or a per employee cost. So we'd say, okay, we're going to spend $500 a month on SEO, but then we're going to have a per store advertising budget of $300. And so when we add that second store, automatically we're going to start spending an additional $300 a month for that store advertising. You can see, per store rent, per store utilities, and then some of these expenses might be a percentage of revenue. So credit card processing fees, 2% of revenue, maybe general and admin, development, sales and marketing. So we can just set as some other percentages of revenue here. Then finally, we have a salaries tab. So here's where we can set corporate level salaries. So CEO, maybe a marketing person. This would be for the production of the chocolate. So I added a production team. So production of the product, these employees, we can add in here. We can set what month they start. and then what month they end. So we have month 60, which is the end of the model. So there's just all these employees start at a certain point and then continue through the rest of the model. And you can set the number of that particular employee as well. So if you had, for example, like maybe the production team, you've got, 3 people that you're starting with right away on the production side, you could set this to 3, for example. And then you can also add in per store staff team. So each store might need a manager, each store might need a store attendant, and then maybe they'll need 2 store attendants. So we've got, for each retail store that comes online, the model will automatically add a manager and 2 store attendants. And we're going to set that to month 1. So that happens right away when the store opens, those employees would be added automatically. All right, so once we do all of that, we get back to where we started, and you can see our profit and loss at a glance. You lose money in the first year, that's why we need to raise some investment. But then as we grow and scale, ramp up to a 23% net profit margin here on a $1.7 million business by the end of year 5. So I know that was a lot there. I think there's a good chance that you're thinking, hey, I might need to customize the model, or, I just like somebody to fill this out for me based on my specific scenario. We're happy to do that. So feel free to reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com. We offer customization and template fill out services as well. And so if you reach out to us and let us know what you're looking to accomplish, we can provide a quote for that. And we have a team standing by ready to help with that. But I hope this has been helpful. As a thank you for sticking around to the end, as I promised, I'm going to put a link down in the description of the video below, and it'll be a link to a form for a discount. So you'll click that link, fill out the form, and then we're going to email you our most up-to-date coupon code so that you can use that to take a discount on this template as our thank you for sticking around to the end. So if you found this helpful, please like the video, subscribe to our channel. That helps us with the YouTube algorithm. So we appreciate that. And again, if you have any questions at all, reach out at support@projectionhub.com. Thanks.